The early days of cystic fibrosis care, the state of many of the adolescents at that time was very fraught.
The expectancy was if the children got to secondary school, really, that in the 1960s, that was a major achievement.
The patients often were malnourished. The second thing was they had very bad lung disease. Very few people survived beyond the mid-20s at that particular time. So in the first few years, it was a baptism of fire for me and for the team. But pretty soon, better treatments began to be introduced. We used to celebrate as a team and the CF community generally when we heard of the first wedding, the first baby delivered, the first university degree. All of these we regarded as incredible milestones. We were getting a feeling of satisfaction that we were getting somewhere, but it was going to be a very long road.
I was diagnosed when I was 3 months old.
I was diagnosed when I was 9 months.
I was diagnosed about 2 months old. Same story as many families.
They tested my genetics, which came back that I was a carrier, and at 10 days old she was officially diagnosed with cystic fibrosis.
I am a parent of children with cystic fibrosis.
I'm 36 years old. I'm still alive. I have 2 kids.
I also happen to be the dad of 3 wonderful children, one of whom lives with cystic fibrosis, Senan.
I was born with CF. My mum was told that I wouldn't live past 4 or 5, and yet here I am at 46, defying the odds.
Cystic fibrosis came into our lives on the 10th of September 1986 when a lovely consultant said, "I'm sorry, Colm has cystic fibrosis."
CF has a massive kind of treatment burden. On a day-to-day basis, the biggest impact I suppose I have from cystic fibrosis would tend to be in my lungs and my digestive system, so I'd be on a lot of medication for both. And I've better lung function now than I can remember having in my adult life.
When Colm was a little boy and grown up, it was something that lived with us, but didn't necessarily overtake our lives. I can't really say the same when our daughter Trina was born in 1998.
The assumption really would have been that somebody in the same family just certainly shouldn't have had so many more challenges. By the time she was 2 weeks old, she'd been through more than I'd been through. I remember the first day she came home. We have a photo of it.
Yeah, and what did she do?
I know what she did, yeah. Trina used to say, when I go to sleep, I was like, I don't have CF. So she used to allow herself to have that break.
Yeah, and when I wake up in the morning, I have it again, I fight it again, and I'll always win.
Yeah, and she said, even if I die.
Even if it gets me, I will always win.
Yeah.
1st of April 2014. She had been in ICU for 11 days. Her friends had started #Song4Tree.
What they wanted was for Ed Sheeran to call her and to sing her favourite song. We were all together around the bed and Ed Sheeran phoned me and I just seen his number phone.
Colm put the phone on loudspeaker and he started to sing Little Bird, and when he finished, the consultant took the stethoscope and put it on her heart, and he just said her heart has stopped.
There should not be anybody dying from cystic fibrosis in Ireland. That is the hardest part of being involved in the CF community, seeing somebody die from this. Every single person living with CF should have access to every possible treatment. There should be no minority groups that are excluded. There should be nobody that's not available to have access to a particular treatment process based or because of money or because of a particular other reason. Access for everyone to medicine that will make them live a long and meaningful life.
Up to the age of 19, I was extremely well. After that, I was hospitalised, I suppose, every 2 to 3 years. My experience coming to UHL has been very positive. I'm coming here over 40 years now and I've seen a lot of changes. Having the new unit, it means that when we come into hospital we have a very safe environment with people that are specialised in CF. And you get to know them people when they're coming into hospital. It's nice to see a familiar face.
The new state-of-the-art ward was opened specifically for cystic fibrosis patients in order to provide high standards of care. I assess patients and prevent deterioration in their condition, and I'm there for patients in their most challenging times. I feel very privileged to work with these cohort of patients. They have such a zest for life and they're so resilient.
Ireland has the highest incidence of cystic fibrosis in the world. We also have the most severe cystic fibrosis. So as a result of the model of care in 2019, we now have a small number of dedicated paediatric and adult CF centres. And the big focus is really to actually do all we can to improve the quality of life and the health of those with cystic fibrosis and their families as well. This launch today will look at the whole spectrum of care, from the time when transplantation is first suggested, all the way through to assessment, to referral, to decision making, what happens if they have a transplant.
Cystic fibrosis is a multi-organ illness. This time 3 years ago, I was in the late stages of slipping into a coma. My lung function ended up at 13%, and obviously through all that as well, I was in kidney failure. I was then given compassionate access of a drug called Kaftrio. I would have been dead within a couple of weeks if I hadn't got it. So I really needed to get my kidney. Then I got the transplant, and within days I started to get my colour back. Like, I was grey before the transplant. Obviously been in kidney failure for the last 4 years. It's just been such a transformation, and I'm so grateful to my donor and the family for giving me my life back.
We're meeting today over Zoom as two people with cystic fibrosis. Why is it safer for both of you?
Well, in the world of cystic fibrosis, there's a risk of cross-infection where one person can acquire the other person's bacteria, and that can present an extra infection burden in the body. So for that reason, it's safer to meet virtually than in person.
When I was in my 20s, my partner, we said we should start looking into having a baby. The doctors said you wouldn't be able to do it unassisted. It looks like you need IVF. But luckily CF Ireland provides all the fertility grants, great help. But then I ended up getting pregnant on my own. It kind of took a toll on my body, but so far I've had a very good pregnancy in the terms of he's hitting all his milestones. So it's just fantastic and amazing in that sense.
Like Cleona said, it's a good news story, because it shows that the CF population is surviving longer and longer. CF treatments over the years have changed and nutrition approaches have changed, and I see some of that in my work as a CF patient advocate. We support families both directly and indirectly, and persons with CF both directly and indirectly. And often you can see the difference in queries. People with CF moving from second level education queries and third level education queries into, mortgage queries and pension queries and starting family queries. And again, it's an indicator of the survival of the CF population.
I would generally have considered myself for almost all of my life to be within the last 5 to 10 years of it. We're now at a point in medication where I don't have a limit on it. I'm not putting that limit on myself anymore. And I hope that other people can do that. And that's now, that's not the future.
Looking after children with cystic fibrosis has changed a lot, I think, in the last 15, 20 years since I've been involved in CF. We've been getting better and better at slowing down the decline in lung function and nutrition.
All of her treatment at the moment is kind of preventative and trying to keep on top of coughs. For her, she's mostly affected by her bowel. She gets constipated quite easily. We get reality checks every now and then, but day to day we don't really think about it.
The story that we tell to new parents of kids with cystic fibrosis nowadays is just vastly different. Now the issue is really around health promotion and preventing ill health and trying to maintain good health as opposed to just waiting for complications to arise.
I hope that with treatments that won't be a worry anymore. It will just be a name given and you have to take this and that's it.
The hope is that medication continue to improve.
The health of people living with CF would be almost normal population health throughout their life.
So it'd be nice to get another groundbreaking drug.
I'm really hoping that there will be a cure within a few years.
Maybe a cure might come down the line.
Ultimately, a cure found.
Someday CF will stand for Cure Found.
When you see the level of research and development of kind of new and innovative therapies, it's not that ridiculous anymore that in my working life there may be a cure for cystic fibrosis.